What would you do if you won the Super Bowl? What book deserves a sequel, and what would its title be? What is the best way to dump someone? What flavor of Oreo cookie do you want to see? If you could change any movie ending, what would you change? Describe your sex life with a movie title. What song do you party to? What's your weapon of choice in the zombie apocalypse? What's the best way to tell your crush that you like him or her? I asked you to write me the loveliest Roses Are Red poem. You should replace Jon Stewart when he leaves The Daily Show. Give me a good acronym for love. Describe YouTube in 4 words. What is the meanest insult you can think of that doesn't have curse words? Where's the best place to hide the body? What song do you make love to? Why does Kanye love Kanye so much? I asked you to help me write a song. What did you think in your acceptance speech? What is your biggest fear? What turns you on? What would your last words be? Tell me the meaning of life in 4 words. If you could time travel, where would you go and what would you do? I asked you to give me your most devastating yo mama jokes. If you only had 1 day left to live, what would you do? What song do you want to be played at your funeral? If you were president of the United States, what would your first order of business be? What are some top 10 lists you would like to see? If you had 100 million Twitter followers, what would you tweet? Describe the Apple Watch in 4 words. If God is real, what would you say to him? What video game describes your sex life? What movie deserves a sequel, and what would its title be? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? I asked you if we could make every comment the same. What makes a man? Make me cringe in 4 words. Fill in the blank, I love you more than blank. Who should replace Zayn in One Direction? If you were a pro wrestler, what would your wrestler name be, and what's your finishing move? To help me write Jaden Smith's next tweet, I asked you for a great April Fool's Day prank. I asked you to write the saddest story you could think of in just 4 words. Write a haiku about your favorite video game. I asked you for a really cool background to put behind me for the next episode of YIAY. Why do we love taking selfies so much? Write your best Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue poem. What feature would you want to see in your next smartphone? What's the next video game that should be made into a movie? If your pet could talk, what would it say? Describe the internet in 4 words. What would your yearbook quote be? What turns you off? I asked you to describe your perfect date night. What makes a woman a woman? I asked you for some great workout tips. I asked you to help me write a song. What are your best life hacks? Who is your man crush Monday? Ruin my childhood. In 4 words, I asked you to let me interpret your dreams. I asked you for some new challenge ideas. How do you impress a girl? Fill in the blanks. We go together like blank and blank. Ruin a relationship in just 4 words. How can we solve world hunger? What is the best way to quit your job? What are some cool new swear words? What are the rules of the internet? What is the absolute worst thing you could say on a first date? What is your best Kickstarter idea? Blow my mind in 6 words or less. What is your dream fight? What is your best motivational quote? I asked you for your Woman Crush Wednesday. When did you realize you weren't a kid anymore? What are your relationship goals? I asked you to describe Facebook in 4 words. I asked you for some last-minute Mother's Day gift ideas. I asked you for some fun things you can do with the GoPro. What is the absolute worst thing you could say after sex? What word or phrase should officially be retired? Here are your best answers. What is your favorite thing to do in bed? What would you do if you had a cloning machine? What is the best way to cheer someone up? If you were a superhero, what would your name and superpower be? How do you escape the friend zone? Describe white people in just 4 words. Fill in the blank. A blank a day keeps the doctor away. I asked you how I can get to 2 million subs because I am so close and yet so far. What is the worst thing you could say at a funeral? What annoys you the most? What really grinds your gears? What's your biggest pet peeve? How do you want to die? How to be a thug in 4 words. If you were immortal for a day, what would you do? Create something using tutorials from lynda.com/jack. What is the worst time to faint? How would you break the internet? What are you doing this weekend? I asked you for a cool new acronym for PETA. What are some new Starbucks flavors that you would like to see? I asked you to describe religion in just 4 words. It's about to get ugly. I asked you for your best tips for job interviews. What are your best icebreakers? If you were a world-class hacker, what would you hack into? What's on your bucket list? What are your best dad jokes? What is the best way to tell your kid they're adopted? I asked you to help me write a song. I asked you to describe teenagers in just 4 words. I asked you for some new commandments. I asked you for your best parenting tips. What should I get Erin, my girlfriend, for her birthday? What's an acronym for memes? Describe Disney in just 4 words. How should I celebrate my birthday? What would you tell the haters? Who would you add to Smash Brothers, and what would their final smash be? I asked you for tips on how to be a successful YouTuber. I asked you to tell me in 4 words what makes America, America. What are your best pickup lines? What killed the dinosaurs? I asked you for your best sex tips. When is the worst time to get a call from your grandmother? What do you want to be when you grow up? Or alternatively, what did you want to be when you grew up? I asked you for an acronym for friends. I asked you to describe anime in just 4 words. How do you sleep at night? I asked you for some tips on going to a convention. What should I green screen in the background behind me? If you could shrink down in size, what would you do? What's the coolest thing to say while walking away from an explosion? What should I read or say while using a speech jammer? I asked you to describe fan bases in just 4 words. I asked you for your best dieting tips. Where do babies come from? I just really want to know. What would you say to your 100-year-old self? I asked you to write a moving story in just 10 words. I asked you for your nerdiest joke. What's a new acronym for YOLO? I asked you to describe YIAY in just 4 words. If you were invisible for a day, what would you do? How will the world end? I asked you for your meanest insults without cursing. I asked you for your best get-rich-quick tips. Let's make a buck or two. If a genie granted you 1 wish, what would you wish for? What are some honest product slogans? What can you say about your car that you can't say about your girlfriend? I asked you to describe Apple in just 4 words. I asked you for your best hangover cure. I asked you for your best band name. The internet's down for a week. What do? I asked you to fill in the blank. You know what they say? If I were an employer, why should I hire you? I asked you to describe the 90s in just 4 words. What would you do if you had $1 million? What would YouTubers do without YouTube? What? I asked you for some tips on becoming popular. I asked you for your best Roses Are Red poems. What's the worst thing to say at a wedding? Describe Tumblr in just 4 words. Let's do this. What would you do if you were the last person on Earth? What are the rules of YouTube? What's your theme song? I asked you to spoil a movie in just 4 words. What's one thing she hates to see in the bedroom? I asked you for some tips on how to survive college. I asked you for your most useful studying tips. I asked you to tell me your dreams so that I could interpret them for you. I asked you to tell me what happiness is in just 4 words. To fill in the blank, when life gives you lemons, blank. What is the best way to propose to someone? How do you take the perfect selfie? I asked you for some different acronyms for USA. What should a smartwatch do? I don't know. Let's go. I asked you for some brand new inventions that could change the world. I asked you to describe the new iPhone 6S in just 4 words. What is the best way to prevent spoilers? Describe fall in 4 words. Here we go. What are some alternate pronunciations or spellings of the name Benedict Cumberbatch? I asked you to make something, anything, using tutorials from lynda.com. What's your best fake Donald Trump quote? Fill in the blank. Keep calm and blank. I asked you to offend me in just 4 words. I asked you for your best shaving tips. If you just got dumped, what do? What is your life motto? If you could create a new flavor for a protein bar, what would it be? Create an acronym for Jack. What's a cool tattoo I should get? I asked you to describe your favorite movie with a haiku. I asked you to describe Reddit in just 4 words. What are your best traveling tips? What is the best way to spend a Friday? I asked you to design a new video game. If you could bring 1 item with you on a deserted island, what would it be? What award category should they add to the Oscars? When is the worst time to sneeze? Fill in the blank. If you can't beat 'em, blank. Scare me in just 4 words. I asked you for some tips on how to write a hit song. What is your costume for Halloween this year? Describe the O's in just 4 words. I asked you for some cool new NBA teams. I asked you for some new themes for birthday parties. I asked you for some cliches or stereotypes that are prevalent in anime. I asked you to design a new flag for Antarctica. What are you thankful for? I asked you for your best Black Friday shopping tips. Describe Twitter in just 4 words. Fill in the blanks. Damn girl, are you blank? Because blank. Describe Christmas in just 4 words. What are some of life's ultimate burning questions that need answering?
What is love in 4 words?
Fill in the blank. All I want for Christmas is blank. I asked you to summarize Star Wars in just 1 sentence. I asked you to make something, anything, using tutorials from lynda.com. What are your New Year's resolutions? I asked you to describe 2015 in just 1 sentence. I asked you for your predictions for the year 2016. Create a brand new anime show. I asked you for some best of 2015 lists that you would like to see. What's the best way to shut someone up? I asked you for some beautiful baby names. What are some tips on leaving the perfect YouTube comment? I asked you for some alternate pronunciations of the name Donald Trump. I asked you for some acronyms for the word drunk. I asked you to describe winter in just 4 words. Name our brand new puppy. I asked you to fill in the blank. If it ain't broke, blank. I asked you to redesign the American flag. If you had 100 million subscribers on YouTube, what would your next video be? I asked you to share some amazing facts that most people don't know. If you could be anyone else for a day, who would you be? How are you going to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of YIAY? I asked you for some alternatives to Netflix and chill. How to be funny in 4 words. I asked you, how are you going to make America great again? I asked you for an acronym for vote. I asked you to help me make Valentine's Day cards. I asked you for an alternative title to the movie Deadpool. I asked you for the worst way to tell someone you love them, but I couldn't find enough answers in time. So instead, we're gonna move on to the next question. What's the best way to get over your ex? I asked you how to lose your friends in just 4 words. I asked you to caption this photo of Aaron holding our 2 dogs. Fill in the blank. Life is like a box of chocolates, blank. I asked you to redesign the movie poster for Batman versus Superman. What TV show describes your sex life? What are some fun things to do with your parents? I asked you to let me acronymize your names. I asked you to help me write an anime episode, sentence by sentence, comment by comment. I asked you to describe drinking in just 4 words. Woo! I asked you to come up with your worst compliment. What would you do if Trump became president? I asked you to help me design a new emoji. I asked you how you plan on celebrating this most sacred of months. I asked you for your deepest, darkest secrets. I asked you what are some alternatives for the phrase grinds my gears, like, I asked you to let me write you some personalized haikus. I asked you guys for some rules for the drinking game of Game of Thrones. I asked you if we could write an original anime theme song, 1 word at a time. I asked you to design a brand new movie poster for the film Captain America: Civil War. I asked you to describe Hollywood in just 4 words. What are some tips on being a good mother? What makes you happy in just 4 words? Fill in the blanks. I love you like blank loves blank. I asked you to describe your morning in just 4 words. I asked you to design a brand new t-shirt. I asked you to redesign the icon for YouTube. I asked you to describe America in just 4 words. Where is the worst place to play Pokemon Go? I asked you to create a brand new website or app. I asked you for some alternate meanings behind the acronym KYS. I asked you to design a new anime character so that I could try and draw him or her or it. I asked you to let me fix your country's flags. I asked you to describe your ex in just 4 words. I asked you to make a new flag for the Olympics. I asked you to make up a new sport for the Olympic Games. I asked you to kids bopify it. I asked you how to get ready for a first date. I asked you to disappoint your parents in just 4 words. I asked you for your best roses are red, violets are blue poems. Again, this is the 4th time we've done this. I asked you to describe the new iPhone 7, but in just 4 words. I asked you to let me fix your Twitter bios. When is the worst time to say you too to somebody? When is something no longer cool? What will be the most popular trends of the year 2020? How would you break up with your SO if you found someone else? I asked you to come up with new campaign slogans for both Trump and Hillary. What is the sluttiest thing you've done today? I asked you for the top 20 achievements of humanity. How do you plan on spending your election night? I asked you to design the new Starbucks holiday cup. I asked you guys to fix my Twitter bio. Come up with the exact opposite of grinds my gears. Fix 2016. Just fix it. Fix all of it. It's a mess. I asked you to design the official flag of Christmas. I asked you for your predictions for the year 2017.
I asked you to come up with more verses for Alexander Hamilton too.
I asked you for your worst Christmas gift. Come up with an alternative to who did this, to steal memes and such. I asked you to take boring, everyday situations and turn them into buzzy, clickbaity YouTube video titles. Come up with some fake facts. What should Trump's first official act as president be? What else could NSFW stand for? I asked you for your best anime-inspired creations. I asked you to fix YouTube in just 4 words. In percentages, what makes you, you? I asked you to design Valentine's Day cards. How to spend Valentine's Day if you're single. I asked you for some boring, mild challenges. I asked you to come up with some fake news. I asked you to have fun and go wild. I tweeted out some pictures of me holding up a blank sheet of paper, and I let you guys do whatever you wanted to them, and I regret it. Fill in the blanks. A group of blank is called a blank. What is the quickest way to piss off a nerd? Mimi big boy. Mimi big boy. I asked you exactly that. Make Nepal's flag more flag-shaped. I asked you to help me write a rap song or whatever, but fill in the blank. Blank, lied the YouTuber. I asked you to come up with new abbreviations and acronyms. I asked you to come up with new Harry Potter titles. I asked you to let me write you all some personalized, custom-made haikus. Fill in the blank. Wanna feel old? Blank. I asked you if we could make every comment the same, and the answer is no. What are some events we can count down to? I asked you for more fake facts, baby! I asked you for just terrible, cringy fan base names that we could come up with. I asked you for some wedding hashtags for Aaron and myself. Our wedding's not until next year, but it's never too early for some wedding hashtags. What do you think the plot to Shrek 5 is? When is the worst time to say I love you? I asked you to fix my forehead. It's long overdue. Come on, guys, help me out. What is something you wish your smartphone could do? I asked you for some new group poses for photos, since it is con season after all. What with E3 and Comic-Con and VidCon coming up soon, you need some new group poses. I asked you to give me 2 random topics, and I would try to link them using nothing but the suggested videos in YouTube. You know, those things off the side if you're in desktop mode, or what does E3 stand for? What is Mario's signature catchphrase? I asked you, what's another name we can call YouTubers, or content creators, or influencers, whatever. What's a new label for all of that? I asked you for your best Roses Are Red poems. This is something I've never ever asked before. We're breaking new ground. I'm very excited. I asked you to make compliment chains in the YouTube comment section. People would start replying to each other complimenting the person above them. Summarize Game of Thrones, all of it, in just one sentence for all the newcomers. If you were a scented candle, what would your scent be? How do you stay safe from hackers? Describe millennials in just 4 words. What offends you the most? How should I celebrate this momentous occasion? What's your billion-dollar movie pitches? What do you do when you dab on your haters, but then your haters dab back? What is your biggest regret?
I asked you to give me names for my compliment track.
I asked you for some totally legit British slang. In just 4 words, can you save the world? I asked you to make me a thumbnail for this video. What are your predictions for the new iPhone? What's your fetish? I asked you for some fake movie quotes that include the title of the movie. I asked you to invent a new holiday. I asked you to let me fix your life. What's the most basic thing you've ever done? What word or phrase do you say when you get pissed off? I asked you to spook me up for October. It's an annual tradition, and I will present to you my top 31 picks, one for every day of October. Come up with more fake news. What do you need to start a YouTube channel? What will the top costumes be for Halloween this year? If you could time travel, where and when would you go, and how would you mess with it? What's the point? Who should you avoid on Twitter? I asked you for some last-minute costume ideas for Halloween. I asked you to make me some terrible, awful, no good, very bad video intros. What is the best way to get a party started?
I asked you to help me write a song.
I asked you to describe YouTubers in just 4 words. What do you think will be in this year's YouTube Rewind? I asked you to do the impossible. Can you describe yourself using only emojis? I asked you to let me fix even more of your sad little lives because I'm a giver. That's what I do. Let's go. What are you thankful for? You just got a book deal. What is your book about? Who should Time Magazine's Person of the Year be? I asked you to Christmas me up for December. What do you do to get into the Christmas spirit? What are some quotes and lines that you think will be in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movie? What do you want for Christmas? What does the FCC even stand for? Like, does anyone even know? I asked you to fix our wedding site. A pretty tall order, but you kind of did. Kind of. When did you stop believing in Santa? I asked you the worst question. What's your persona? I asked you to let me fix your art. What was the worst gift you got for Christmas this year? I asked you for your New Year's resolutions for 2018. I asked you to define micro-cheating. What does BTS stand for? What should I do if I win YouTuber of the Year? I asked you what the title of the next Star Wars movie is. I asked you to let me write you some very sensual haikus. I asked you to come up with some cool-ass Valentine's Day cards. What does finna woke mean? I asked you to come up with new, better Winter Olympic sports. I asked you to write our wedding vows. Uh-oh. I asked you for more fake facts. What should I ask Alexa? I asked you to describe Twitch in just 4 words. Who did we bamboozle? Did we fool anyone? And the answer is yes. I asked you to let me fix your terrible, cringy usernames. If you could chat with anyone, living, dead, fictional, who would it be and why? What is your underdog story? How should I hide my bulging, bulbous forehead? Who would win in a fight? Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman? I asked you to please not Photoshop this beautiful, sacred wedding photo. Where should we go for our honeymoon? How do I stop these tears? Give me Infinity War in just 4 words. What's the worst thing you've ever done? Can you Shrek it? Can you take any subject matter, anything at all, and relate it back to Shrek in just a few steps? I asked you to let me fix your dumb, bad avatars. What will the title be for the next Avengers movie? Can you name just 3 characters from the first Avatar film? Just 3. Can you guess the movie in just 4 words? How can I become a better gamer? I asked you a couple of teleportation-themed questions. So please don't Photoshop our beautiful, lovely honeymoon. Specifically this photo. Just don't do it. Don't shop it. What does IHOB actually mean? Who was your first crush? What would a JackCon consist of? What does be a Klondike even mean? I asked you to help me give Magic the Gathering cards better names and better rules. What's your podcast about? I want to listen to it.